You are 22 the first time the door shuts behind you. It doesn't echo the way you imagined. No drama, no cinematic pause. Just steel meeting steel. Flat, ordinary, final. That sound doesn't ask for your permission. It informs you. Something has ended. Before you fully grasp what's happening, your name is taken from you, replaced, reduced, rewritten into 8 digits. You repeat them once, then again. By the end of the week, they come faster than your own name ever did. And that's when you begin to understand. This place doesn't erase you all at once. It rewrites you, piece by piece. The intake room smells like chemicals trying to hide something worse. Bleach layered over sweat, over time, over stories no one tells. Lights hum overhead, not bright, just relentless. A voice gives instructions without ever meeting your eyes. Shoes off, belt off, turn, cough. You comply, because hesitation here is not confusion. It's attention, and attention has consequences. Your cell is small enough to measure in footsteps. 6 by 9. Concrete that doesn't absorb sound, only returns it. A bed welded into place, like movement itself has been outlawed. A mattress that feels temporary, even though it isn't. A window placed just high enough to remind you that the outside exists, but not for you. Your cellmate doesn't ask who you are, doesn't tell you who he is. He just points upward. Top bunk. Then he folds a towel with the precision of someone who has learned that control, no matter how small, is survival. That first night, sleep doesn't come. Instead, you listen. Footsteps, keys, voices you can't quite make out. A door slamming somewhere far away. You start counting. Patterns become comfort. At 5:30, the lights hit you without warning. Count time. You stand, still, silent, visible. That's the first lesson. Not spoken, understood. Visibility is compliance. The first year strips you down, not physically, but internally. You become smaller in your movements, quieter in your words, sharper in your observations. No one hands you a map of how things work. You study it instead. Who speaks freely? Who doesn't need to? Who gets space without asking for it? 30. And then there's him, the man who never raises his voice, never rushes, never waits too long either. Everything about him is controlled, intentional. No one calls him a leader, but the room bends around him. That's when you learn. Power here isn't loud, it's understood. Work becomes your first form of escape. Not freedom, but movement. Laundry. Heat that wraps around you like a second sentence. Machines roaring endlessly, like time itself refusing to pause. You sort, wash, fold, over and over again. Fabric replaces conversation. Routine replaces thought. And in a place like this, predictability becomes peace. Then comes the next realization. Movement isn't just movement, it's access. And access is everything. By the time your second year ends, you've learned something deeper. Nothing here is free. Not time, not space, not silence. Everything has weight. Everything has value. Everything can be traded. It starts small. Coffee packets, soap, extra bread, simple exchanges, favors for favors. At first, it feels like survival. Then you notice the pattern. The same men who sit where they want are the same men who never carry anything themselves. They don't move goods, they move people. Your moment comes quietly. No announcement, no build-up, just a sentence while you're folding sheets. You're consistent. That's it. The next day, a package appears. No name, no explanation, just direction. And in that half second, that brief pause before you act, your life shifts. You pick it up. That moment doesn't feel dramatic, but later you'll understand. That's where observation ends and participation begins. You expect resistance, searches, questions, interruption. None comes. And that's when you see it. The system isn't broken. It's designed with gaps, not careless ones, intentional ones. Predictable, repeatable, usable. So you don't rush to exploit them. You study them. Who checks thoroughly? Who doesn't? When attention rises, when it fades, you become a student of patterns. By year 4, you've moved up. Inventory, cooler air, quieter space, more control. Numbers replace noise, and numbers don't lie, unless someone tells them to. You notice discrepancies, small at first, then consistent. Not mistakes, adjustments. You're not told to falsify anything. You're told to correct it. And that word soft, harmless, reasonable, makes it easy. You change numbers, slightly, and nothing happens. No alarms, no consequences. Because here's the truth. The system doesn't collapse. It adapts. It bends. Money returns to your life, but not in your hands. It exists in trust, in quiet records, in numbers written in places no one official ever sees. You move something here, someone receives something there, and suddenly your outside life starts shifting. Without you being there, your family notices. They don't ask too much, because sometimes not knowing is easier than understanding. By year 6, you're no longer surviving, you're operating. Roles exist. Structures form. Not officially, but clearly. And you're part of it now. Not at the top, not at the bottom. Right where things move, you're operating. You become efficient, and efficiency becomes your identity. Less talk, less exposure, more precision. You stop thinking in moments. You start thinking in systems. By year 8, your life exists in 2 places. Inside, where you operate. Outside, where your numbers grow. $18,000. $42,000. More. Not fast, not loud. Just steady. Like everything else you've become. You justify it. Of course you do. You call it rebuilding, correction, balance. You use the same language the system taught you. By year 10, trust replaces introduction. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You're predictable, reliable. And in a system like this, predictability is power. But here's the quiet truth. You didn't cross a line. You stepped over it. Slowly. So slowly, you never felt it. By year 12, something unsettling settles in. You understand everything. How it works, where it breaks, how it recovers. But then you realize something else. It doesn't need you. Not you specifically, just someone like you. That thought stays with you, not loud, but persistent. It finally surfaces during something small, a minor discrepancy. You trace it back, not to failure, but to someone you trained. You confront him. He shrugs. It works better this way. And in that moment, you hear yourself, because you said the same thing before. That's when it clicks. This system doesn't care about intention, only function. Not why something is done, but whether it fits. So you step back, not outwardly, internally. You start watching again, like you did at the beginning. You see new faces arrive, lost, quiet, observing, just like you once were. By year 15, time becomes real again. Your release isn't a concept, it's a date. So you prepare, not emotionally, strategically. You reduce exposure, transfer responsibility, close loops. And no one resists. That's when you know for sure you were never essential, only useful. The door opens, and this time it doesn't sound the same. Maybe it's quieter, or maybe You've changed too much to hear it the same way. Outside feels unfamiliar, not because it's new, but because it's undefined. No schedules, no structure. Freedom isn't overwhelming, it's empty. You have money, you have options, but you also carry something invisible, a way of thinking. You still calculate, still analyze, still look for systems. You try to reconnect, but people speak in feelings, and you speak in patterns. There's a distance, not physical, fundamental. Then one day, you find yourself standing across from a familiar place. Concrete, barbed wire, routine. You watch. Nothing has changed. Different faces, same system, same cycles. And that's when the final truth settles in. It was never about you. It never needed you, and it never stopped when you left. Somewhere inside, someone is standing still during count, learning the first rule: visibility is compliance. Somewhere else, someone is adjusting numbers, calling it correction. And the system, it continues, not because of people, but because of design. You turn away, not with regret, not with relief, just clarity. The door closed once. It opened again. But the structure? It was never the door. It was everything behind it. And it's still there, running, repeating, waiting,